Hey guys, we continue our book, Iamblichus Exhortation to Philosophy, chapter 4. In this chapter, Iamblichus talks about the esoteric and scientific exhortations to philosophy. And at the beginning, he makes three analogies. The eyes physicalize the sun and the intellect. And he compares those three things together to explain the role of the intellect and how those three things are linked. For the eyes, he says, the eyes are the most excellent of all the senses. They are the most of physical, corporeal senses. They are the most far-reaching and discriminative. Which is why if a human could choose any corporeal sense, I think he either talks about that in this chapter or in the following chapters, that the human would choose the eyes. He can see much more through them and see more truth, at least relative truth in this reality, through those eyes, which objects are what and so forth. So the eyes are the best of the corporeal senses. The sun, he says, the sun in the same way are the eyes of the soul of nature. And by that he explains that the sun makes all things visible. So that kind of makes sense. It gives power to things for them to be generated and apprehended because they're now visible. So that also makes sense. He says that in the same way, intellect is the sight of the soul, the sight of honorable things, things which are good. How does this happen? By using specifically two things, reason and discursive knowledge, discursive reasoning, we start to gain a sight into things which are true and things which are right in reality. So we can see how that can be linked to being able to see. So we start to see with the mind what is true and what is not true. The result of this sight is wisdom. So wisdom is the end goal. This is what we seek through reason, through discursive knowledge. So wisdom, Iamblichus says, is higher than reason or discursive knowledge. And here very interesting thing starts to happen. The way wisdom works, he says, is by intuitive contemplations. So if I understand them correctly, then here's a division that is going on. With reason and discursive knowledge, we're using words, we're using thoughts, and those are very divided things. There are many words, many meanings, and so forth. There is a lot of division in that. If we progress higher, we're expected to see more and more unity in how we do things. And hence, in wisdom, we're not using words as such, we're using intuitive contemplations, intuitions. So we grasp the meaning, and then this meaning, if needed, can be put into all sorts of words if necessary. And some meaning may not even be able to be translated into words. So this is a higher level of working. So this is how wisdom works. It perceives things. There's two parts to it from what he says. First part is it perceives things through intuitive contemplations. And the second part, which is a very interesting thing, is it performs those things within itself. So this concept that we'll talk about much later. So kind of a loop is created, a cycle. So it understands something and then it performs that thing within itself. That is a very, very peculiar thing. Because Iamblichus says, to know a thing is one thing, to know something. But then to know this something by its actions, by performing it, is a whole other kind of knowledge. It's a more complete type of knowledge. So it is beautiful how nature is designed in such a way that wisdom, to learn the truth about something, the wisdom does not only contemplate it theoretically, but practically it performs its activities within itself. This is mind-blowing if you think about it. So yeah, this is very important to understand. And later we see this whole cycle when we'll be talking about the process of procession and reversion. We'll see a Platonic process. We'll see how the cycle works, why it works, and the proof that it exists in much, much more detail. For now, this is all we need to understand. So as always, there's more. I think I'll make one more video on this chapter. There's even more stuff to discuss. This is kind of like a very small pinch of it. Buy the book, read the chapter, and you'll get much, much more out of it. This is nothing by comparison to what is written in the actual chapter. There is you can take one sentence and like derive entire theories from it and understandings. This is just making these videos to help me essentially later revisit this material, and if it's useful to you, then that's good also. So that's it. See you in the next video, and have a good day.